Hey guys, Eric with Retro Rides. It's a Jeep thing. This one here was brought to us, a friend of a friend. Fiberglass body sitting on top of, we believe it to be a 79 GMC chassis. It's got a body lift, it's got some crazy shackles. It needs help. Hasn't ran in a while either, so it's got the old AMC motor in it still, V8. Order of operations, get it running, and then we'll diagnose the motor, transfer cases, in pieces. Also, we have fresh springs and shocks coming. We're gonna gut out all the suspension underneath this thing, cut off all the old brackets right down the frame rails, build new hangers and all that stuff. And we're gonna go with the overspring instead of the under like this, and then get rid of that body lift. So hopefully height will be around the same height at the end of the day, but it'll have a much nicer ride. Hopefully not be so janky. Then custom interior, all that stuff. But basically, project Jeep, time to get it on the road. Like, I mean, transfer case, I don't even know what this is. Is this an ashtray or something? Oh, that's fine. Nope, okay. Oh, we got mouse turds. Stay tuned. That'll be fine. I don't know where the top or door is or roll bar or any of that stuff. I haven't even popped a hood on this thing yet. Let's go take a look. See if we can see some beady eyes looking back at us. That'd be fun. Oh, well, carb is wide open. That'll be fine. It's got a big horn. It's cool. Electric fan. Edelbrock intake. It's got things. Seen worse. Yeah, you know, seen worse. For sure. Definitely hasn't been ran in a while, it looks like. Motor actually looks like it's fairly fresh, at least from this side. It could be the old aerosol overhaul, hard to tell until we get into it. This will be interesting. Jeep life.
Hey guys, Jeff here, Retro Rides, working on Levi's motor here. It's a 401. We pulled it out of this fine Jeep here, like a couple months back. Well, let me back up. We got it. We fired it up and it was knocking. First thing I do when there's an engine noise like that, I'll pull the oil filter, see what's up. Great disappointment, there was a bunch of metal in it. So, pull the motor, shipped it off to the engine builder. It needed everything. So, probably one of the most expensive engines I've heard of lately, between everything they did. But yeah, it came to us back to us as a long block, bare metal yesterday. So I reassembled it, put the pan on it, valve covers, intake, the oil pump on the front, new fuel pump, and then kind of cleaned everything up so it looks all nice and clean and new like it is. We'll be putting that thing in. We're waiting on the pilot bushing for it. For some reason, these 401s have an oddball size, and the machine shop took the other one out. Granted, you don't want to use the old used ones. We'd have to wait anyways, but we did order a new one. Should have been here yesterday, and it's not, so they said it would be here today, so that's good news. We did do new motor mounts in it. The old one, kind of crazy. Not that old, but had a broke off stud, and then the rubber's all messed up and old and crusty. So yeah, so all kinds of fun stuff. So I should have that thing in here this week and get it back up, fired and running. And then next on the agenda for this one is we're putting all new springs in it. These things inherently ride like garbage because the springs are short and there's a thick pack. So we're going to do a little newer a Wrangler pack in it rather than the CJ. So they're thicker, thinner springs, and they ride a little better. And then we'll do a spring over conversion, get rid of all the shackle extensions that they put on it to make it clear those tires. Got it fired up yesterday and broke in, and the carburetor was kind of give us some fits. So took it apart and got a kit for it. So we're going to rebuild it. We pulled it all apart, and it was just a bunch of sludge and garbage in the bottom. The Venturis had a bunch of greasy, bad gas stuck and everything. So go through, clean it all out, get all the gasket material off, blow everything out, put a fresh set of gaskets. I just got done putting the needle and seats in it. So I'm going to do the floats next and measure, make sure our height is correct, and then I'll go assemble the lower half. So it's kind of strange. The carburetor, it's soaking right now, but it had a bunch of gas coming up through the back of the secondaries, so it was running kind of rich on our break-in. But we got it broke in, and it hopefully it'll run a little. Well, it will run better now, but You know, it's kind of hard to say or judge on something whenever it comes in, what it's going to do, the dynamic, how it's going to run. Whenever it's only ran for like 5 minutes, we found out the motor was knocking, so then we pulled the motor out, sent it out, and then got it back in. So on to the next step for this one.
All right, now we're moving on to the suspension. It's my job. I don't know why. I'm just kidding. It's because I'm good. Yeah, so we're doing a lift on this. Swapped out all the old crappy leaf springs, put some new ones in. Moved the leaf springs on top of the axle instead of underneath like they were before. Doing a bunch of steps right now to kind of get rid of the body lift kit on this thing and drop the body back on the frame. Yeah, it's a lot. Redo pretty much everything under here. You know, perches, mounts, like they cut everything off and strip the axle so then I can remount it on top. So put these guys on the axle, line it up with the pin. I've got all my center lines all made, and then I'll play around with the shackles and make sure that this thing sits level. I'm almost there, and then I can drop it on its weight and see how it sits, and then work from there. Kind of play around front to back until I figure out the height that I like.
Hey, it's Matt with Retro Rides. You saw with Dane earlier, he was doing the suspension. Now we've got this sitting looking pretty. Next thing up, customer wanted to put some EFI in this, just to help with off-road and all the weird angles of the motor. So right now we're dropping the tank. We're gonna get it ready for an EFI Holley fuel pump. And we'll see if we can't get EFI in this old girl and see what she does.
Hey, John Maro here with Retro Rides. Last you guys saw Dane finish up the suspension on this. Matt pulled the tank out and painted it up. It's sitting over there. I've got the fuel pump ready to go in. Sniper's on. Right now I'm working on wiring for it. And then I'll go through and hook up sensors like water temp sensor, O2 sensor, and run fuel lines, and should be ready to go.
As you can see, we got the cage mounted. We had to get a little creative because we don't want to be damaging any of the actual fiberglass body. So there's a couple of places in the fender that we have a plate underneath that sandwiches. We had to get a little creative with the middle pillar. We tied it into the body mounts just like we did up front. We tied it into a plate with the body mounts just to hopefully give it some rigidity.
Hey guys, Jeff. Retro Rides working on Levi's Jeep. Kind of coming to an end on this one. This is a little bit of a basket case. Had to do quite a bit of stuff to it. Well, what we didn't really know with the motor, what was going on with the motor kind of thing. So we got it fired up and found out how to knock. So we put a motor in it. And then fuel injection and a couple other things, but things good to go now. Matt got all the roll bar and everything in it, and we're just looking for a temporary seat so we can go take it for a maiden voyage down to the roundabout. So this thing's come quite a long ways, you know. It was just kind of sitting, everything was sitting. They pulled the cage out of it, and the cage is integrated through the body mount, so some of the body mount stuff is kind of loose, and radiator was bad after we got in the motor, and then it just kind of spiraled kind of thing, but it's good now though. So it's on the downhill run, so we're just kind of waiting to find a seat that I can put in it and drive it down there, see how it does, make sure everything's functional and safe. We can kick it back to them. Let's see if it'll start here. Dane's making all the noise over there. No pumping required. Gotta love fuel injection.